Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good day to you, or good night, or whenever you're watching this, really. Hello, welcome to LittleBigArt Studio, and a long awaited Little Big Planet video. Unfortunately, and you know it's going to be bad when anyone starts anything with unfortunately, I did something silly. I will hold my hands up, say I did something silly and it is my fault that this has happened, but the upshot of which is not very good at all. And now you're all wondering what has happened. Well, you're probably guessing now. Has this happened? Has that? Strangely enough, my pod remained. The decorations and everything in the pod remained. My costume remained. I don't know whether the collected items remained. I'm yet to have a look. But every single level on my moon has disappeared. Which is kind of cathartic, really. It's kind of cathartic. What do I mean? Well, it gives me a chance to start again. Brand new. And now the window cleaner's appeared outside. Just wait a second. Okay, let's continue while he's there. Well, I don't know what I've got in my pocket. I'm hoping all my materials and everything else remain. Yes, they do. Everything I've saved has remained. My progression in story mode has remained. Let's have a look. Oh no, I have no objects that I've made, and I have no community objects. Get your friends to send you objects. That'd help if I had PSN network. Kind of one of the reasons why I started this channel, actually. And I do need to do a video all about my inspiration tag challenge thing. Why I started YouTube. So it was my fault. And I'm going to happily hold my hands up and say it was my fault. Oh, of course, it's a brand new day. Now machines start. We've had a window cleaner, got machines. This is great. This is fantastic. First nice day we've had in ages, so kind of to be expected. Right. So yeah, it was my fault. I tried to edit some footage whilst in create mode. I mean, basically what the LP3 engine is doing is pushing the limit. People say, oh, I think it's a problem because it's crossover between LP3 on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Yeah, kind of. But I don't agree. I don't think that's entirely the main problem. So I'll probably have to go collect some music. I am kind of sad about a few things disappearing. I know I have a backed up version of Songbird Part 2, Tale 2. And we can still make levels. By the way, if you don't want to play all the main levels, go do the Smuffy levels. Go do the Smuffy levels. So yeah, I had a profile corrupt. It was my fault. I accept. So I'm just mocking something up, and I recently become quite obsessed with bricks. I don't know why I'm doing a silly voice, but let's go with it. Yeah, I kind of like bricks. So we're adding a bit of shadow there to our brick. That's using the dirt smear. The dirt smear campaign. Yes, I remember that one. Could put some graffiti on your brick. Yay! It's a brick. Yeah. Little Big Planet does that to me. So okay, rust patch. This is pretty good for your brick. This is creating some nice effects on your brick. And now your brick looks like a brick. And there we go. Don't have to just use it for rust. That looks like an excellent brick. Now there is one other thing to look for, and this unfortunately is in DLC, I'm afraid. And you would not believe which DLC it is actually in, because neither did I. It's a fairly recent one. Fairly recent. I say fairly recent. It's an LBP3 DLC. So it was invented by LB3. Oh, you're going SpongeBob? Ghostly mold. Dun, 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 dun. That is brilliant. We'll save the brick as is. Always remember to put things in your pocket. The first thing to ever go into the into my pocket, my objects, is a brick. That says a lot about me. It's a brick. So I've got a kind of obsession with making hyper real kind of levels at the moment. Yeah, hyper real, not just real, hyper real. Sounds like something out of a Shaman song. For those of you who remember the Shaman and Mr. C, there we go. Oh, whoops, yeah, that wasn't quite where I wanted it. I want it on there. So yes, we're getting a nice look at that brick. Cool. If you could ever get excited about bricks, this is a brick worth getting excited about. Brick, brick, brick. If you want to add anything to your brick, I mean add like if you want a real flash touch to your brick, now this is going to make all the difference. You'll be amazed. It will knock your socks off. If you hadn't guessed, I'm in a slightly silly mood today. I don't know why, I don't know what's come over me, I don't know what is going on. Don't ask. Medium, small, or just snail? Let's go for a medium snail shell. See, I told you, it would knock your socks off. We need to make sure it is a static object because we want to stick it to the side of our brick. We now have a snail. But if you know anything about pond snails, you know they're not that colour, don't you? Yeah, you're very clever. So we'll go to this grease stain. No, it didn't quite work, did it? Kinda looks right, but doesn't quite. Want a brownie colour. A brownie effect. So, hang on. This looks about right. Cooked patty. Brilliant. See, the whole idea and the whole point of Little Big Planet is to actually make you think. Yeah, that looks brilliant. That looks fantastic. Fabulous. Been a long time since we did train spotting. I did warn you. I did warn you. So yeah, we now have a snail. A pond snail. So let's put pond snail. Because that's quite good. Hang on. How did that... What? Oh, pond snail did go in as pond snail. Good. And pond snail now needs to be stuck to the side of brick. Pond snail is now stuck to brick. Brick and pond snail move together. If you want it to make it slightly bigger, but if we make it any bigger, then poor Sackboy is going to be, well, overwhelmed. Now, if you're wondering how I made the brick, it is simply sliders, but slides in the middle to make that concave effect. But you can't simply overlap them. As you can see, they're overlapping here when I put my cursor on it. We don't need a snail on this one. Too many snails spoil the broth. We will go to wood now and add a nice plank. And I would be created by the name of McQueen. That's the plank. Weathered green wood or rough wood. I quite like rough wood, so let's go with rough wood. You can try and stop them. Oh, I'm full of the 80s and 90s references today. So we're going to add a plank. Now, it's going to be pretty boring just to have a plank to walk through. So you want something behind your plank. Right, let's we want our plank to sink. There we go. Plank is in place perfectly. Well, we're not seeing much of the fantastic design there, so let's go to 66%. That's about right. Not too far away. So Sackboy is still the focus. or Sack Girl in this case, or Sack Ellie in this case, from The Last of Us. Fantastic little game. And can you believe they started by making Crash Bandicoot? There is hope yet. So we have the start of a level, of a brand new starting again. I am going to put some things in outtakes, and I warn you now, in the outtakes, it's me being silly. Don't get upset. Don't put silly comments. I'm just mucking about and having a laugh, because after all, I am here to entertain you, and I like to mess around and be silly, and it's the kind of thing that entertains me. I like, you know, referencing things and joking, and I just, yep, it's what I do. But yeah. So yeah, in the outtakes, it will be there. So yeah, pretty cool. But I don't think I want the swimming. I probably want it when Sackboy gets wet. Sackboy goes and dies. Sackboy would drown if Sackboy's underwater for too long. Sackboy, Sackboy, Sackboy. So we want a bit more in the level. I don't know what to have. This, I don't like the lines in it, so we'll perhaps change to the weather green wood. Let's see if that works better. Oh no, that's an LBB1 texture. I don't like that at all. Look. Yuck. Nasty. Rough wood's much better. Old wood. Bit like me. No, that's too... yeah, kind of. Old wood. Just needs a bit of an effect upon it. So, need to make it fairly big. And it is these little touches that, you know, make the difference on your level, believe me. Believe me. Says the person who's just lost everything to a profile corrupt. Through his own stupid fault. It's a shame because Creatething's gone, but it's also cathartic. So there we go. Now I've got a scratchy bit mucky mud. So I don't know whether to have it, you have to stay dry, or I don't know. So any ideas on a postcard, please, and send them in to us, and I'll continue this at some point. Thanks for joining me, and hope you enjoy the outtakes, and I'll, yeah, and I'm not going to go sit in the corner and rock like a mad person, because I've lost all my hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work. I'm not. Okay, alright. I'm actually going to load up Skyrim and do a bit of that, I think. So, I'll see you in the next Creatething. If I ever do one. Because I might not now. Bye. First nice day we've had in a long, long time. Luckily my dog hasn't heard him, hasn't set him off, hasn't gone mad. And I'm pacing up and down like a madman in my front room.